We're going to talk about Warner Brothers and just all the shit going on there. And then we're going to get out of here because this story is going to take a minute. There's a lot going on with Warner Brothers and their acquisition from Discovery. The Warner Brothers Discovery as they're known now. I'm going to put a couple because there wasn't like one thing I could go with. Of course, we had Batgirl that was canceled, the completed film that was canceled earlier this week. And there's been a little bit of fallout from that. I compiled all this stuff, and I'm just not going to go through it all. But ultimately, the directors, they were at a wedding, one of their weddings, and they, on Instagram, that's when they learned that Batgirl was canceled. And they put out there saying, more or less, they were pretty saddened that, you know, this happened. This is how they learned about it, like everybody else. And, you know, thanks to everybody who worked with the film, yada, yada, yada. Batgirl for life, they said that. And they were really looking forward to it. Unfortunately, they're not going to be able to, you know, see that vision through. And the Leslie, what is her name? Leslie Grace, is that her name?
Yeah, Leslie Grace.
Who played Batgirl. She put something out as well saying, you know, recent news, Batgirl was canceled. I'm saddened to hear this. I was really looking forward to it. Out to everybody who put in all the months and months of hard work on the set and on the movie. You know, good on you guys. I'll cherish that time, blah, blah, blah. We were blessed to do it. Sorry that you guys won't be able to see the movie. And she was, you know, Batgirl for life. They're all saying that hashtag Batgirl for life. Now, I will say that the directors also said thanks for all the messages of support over the world. Shout out to directors Edgar Wright and James Gunn. Your kind words and experiences mean a lot and help us through this difficult period. So apparently James Gunn and Edgar Wright have reached out. Both of them have had films that have been or canceled. Maybe not to the degree that this movie was, but they've both had films that were canceled, so they were reaching out a hand. The one person that also reached out to them that was probably more high profile would be Kevin Feige. I hear it both ways. It says Kevin Feige reached out to say, "My friends, I had to reach out and let you know we are all thinking about you both." Feige wrote, because of the wonderful news about the wedding, congratulations, and the disappointing news about Batgirl. Very proud of you guys and all the amazing work you do, and particularly Ms. Marvel, of course, which, by the way, they directed Ms. Marvel as well. At least some of them. I don't know about all of them. Can't wait to see what is next for you. Hope to see you soon. So, yeah, Kevin Feige, the master of all things Marvel, reached out to these guys and said, hey, sorry to hear that. Sounds like he's trying to do what DC did with James Gunn when Marvel and Disney fucked him over. They say, hey, guys, come on back over here. We'll let you do something. Also, in an unrelated yet related situation concerning Warner Brothers, insiders say Supergirl, which is a movie that's in production, which is in development, is not likely to move forward. Sasha Callie, who played the Caped Crusader superheroine, is introduced in the upcoming The Flash movie. Supergirl was going to spin off of the Miller-led tentpole, but now people are saying that one is being quietly ended as well. I don't know if they were into filming this movie yet or not. They may have been. I know that casting was done.
She has that I think it was her. I think it's her that has that infamous video where she gets said that she's going to be in this this movie, and it's like kind of sweet and inspiring. You know, somebody who has worked hard to get a role like this, and it sucks. It sucks to see, you know, something that she may never get. It's like when Henry Cavill was trying to become like James Bond and, you know, Superman before Brendan Routh took over, and you're just like, this guy is one day gonna have something. And same thing with her. It's like, oh man, I know there's been some issues, and I don't know if you read about it, but the Batgirl reaction screen, they released some more information about it, and they basically said it was as bad as Dark Phoenix. I'm like, ooh,
yeah, that was a bad movie.
Okay.
Yeah, or bad. Well, and you know, it's unfortunate. I do feel like that this whole situation with Batgirl and Warner Brothers has drummed up all this. Has drummed up all this hype around this movie that nobody gave a fuck about a week ago. Like a week ago, everybody was pretty much saying, "Yeah, this movie looks like trash and it's gonna suck and it's not good." Now they're like, "Oh, this poor
That's
movie. Where I want to see
that,
this was one of my most anticipated movies ever." No, the fuck it wasn't. Get the fuck out of here. Everybody was saying it was trash before it was canceled.
This is the problem. This is what makes me laugh, and I love some of the people that I react or interact with on Twitter. But all of a sudden, everybody's upset that this movie got canceled. I'm like, would you be surprised at how many movies have gotten canceled in the life of Hollywood? It's just there's projects that get canceled. It's the unfortunate nature. It doesn't mean, I wouldn't have minded seeing Brendan Fraser as Firefly or something like that. But it's like if the movie's that bad. I mean, if it was under the old regime, if the movie's that bad, they would have found a way to dump it on HBO Max, which is what they were going to do. And I think it's Walter Amato was like, they test screened it to see what they needed to do with it. And sometimes you just got to cut your losses. They're going to save money by cutting their losses on this film. I mean, they spent a lot of money, but it's like sometimes I think people overreact when they feel, that they're being they're taking it too personally, and there's reasons behind what David Zaslav did, and I don't know. It's just frustrating to see. Like, I feel bad for Leslie Grace, but it's just like she understands. They understand it sucks, but it'll get leaked. It'll get leaked eventually.
Oh yeah, it definitely will. And I don't know. I'm wondering if people will look at it more favorably because of everything, because of all this. Because I do feel like, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm curious. I don't want to see the movie because I think it'll be good. I'm curious to see the movie just to how bad is it, and because of all this stuff surrounding it. But I make no bones about it. I'm sure the movie's not good. The precedent here is that not only that they canceled a movie that was in production, that happens all the fucking time. They canceled a movie that was done, like done in the can, more or less. The changes that they were making to it, they clearly had a movie that they thought at some point in time, hey, we're done with it and it's ready to release. Let's see what people think about it. And people trashed it and were like, this sucks. And they were like, okay, we need to make differences or need to make changes. That's why the movie was not quote unquote completed, because everybody trashed it and it wasn't good. So I'm curious to see it.
If this movie had been high level of quality, there would have been no way this would have been canceled. Like if it was that good, like if it was the greatest thing since sliced bread, they would have been like tentpole, put it on screen. But they were going to put it on HBO Max. So, I mean, maybe it wasn't good. Like I said, you said Brendan Fraser's was the only thing that got a decent reaction. And, it's like...
That's what they say, yeah.
Yeah, with the whole idea with Ben Affleck, they're replacing... they were talking about how Michael Keaton was... They were confused by why Michael Keaton was in Aquaman 2. Well, it's the same thing. I mean, it's like, maybe it's just bad. I don't know.
Oh yeah, and I feel very confident in saying. Well, I haven't seen the movie. I feel confident in saying, yeah, it's probably bad. That's why. And they said that they've finally come out and just been like, yeah, it's not up to the quality we want.
Yeah.
On that note about the quality, and it sounds like Supergirl was not moving in the direction they wanted to go either. This is what happens when you have these companies that are absorbed by other companies. Changes happen. I think that Warner Brothers is usually it's the bigger name taking on the smaller one, like Disney taking over Fox and things like that.
Disney canceled a lot of Fox shit.
Yeah. Warner Brothers is the bigger name here as far as mind share. And Discovery is the smaller name, but they're the ones who clearly have more money, and they are taking over Warner Brothers. So I think that people don't really consider, they tend to forget that this company was just bought. So this shit happened. Same thing happened with Marvel, Star Wars, all that when Disney bought them. And David Zaslav he's running Warner Brothers now, and he's the head of Discovery. He comes from Discovery. He said, "We've seen The Flash, Black Adam, and Shazam 2. We are very excited about them. We've seen them. We think they are terrific, and we think we can make them even better. We are not going to put a movie out unless we believe in it." That's it. Zaslav said on the earnings call today. They had an earnings call, which is where a lot of this is coming from, by the way. The objective is to grow the DC brand, to grow the DC characters, but also our job is to protect the DC brand, and that's what we're going to do. He also goes on to mention how they have a 10-year plan, and he did reference Marvel and what Kevin Feige specifically had done with DC over there. People are kind of shitting on this. I don't think it's a bad idea. I mean, we could talk about whether they need to try and do their own thing or mirror Marvel. That's that's debatable. That's up there. I get there's
They don't need
merit
to
within
mirror
that,
Marvel.
but
Joker proved they don't need to do that.
yeah,
Aquaman,
I think that they
to an
should
extent.
do their own thing. But I mean, I can't fault them for being in that same comic book universe or world and saying, hey, they're being crazy successful. Maybe we should try and do something like that. Depends on what level they're talking about doing something like that. Which, because Warner tried to do that with the Snyderverse, and it's varying degrees of success or not. It didn't work out in the long run, obviously. But
Yeah.
I do like his comments about, it's our job to protect the DC brand. We don't want to release movies that are subpar. Those are good comments. That's good stuff to say.
They're
Batgirl,
learning from they're learning from what they were doing.
yeah, Batgirl was subpar. Supergirl, something about it either didn't fall in line with what they were doing or it was subpar. People are kind of giving him shit about this, and I'm like, why? He's sitting here saying, I don't want to release bad movies. I want to do something with this brand as a whole. I want to, yeah, that means some things are going to be canceled. Some things are going to be shook up. They're going to change. That happens. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it sucks because it's very public that they're canceling all these things and they're doing all this stuff. But that happens. It happens with these characters. These are beloved characters, so anytime you do something, I think the biggest thing, the cancellation of Supergirl is not really, so what? It's not. I don't think people are really that blown away by that. I think the only reason people are talking about that is because the whole Batgirl thing. Batgirl was done and completed, and they canceled it. I think that's the biggest story here. But that should tell people that's how bad it was. I'm not saying Leslie Grace, Brendan Fraser, these directors, all these people didn't put the work in. I applaud them for doing their job. But overall, it just didn't work. Whatever that reason was, we'll never know until it eventually leaks and we see it. But it didn't work. I do wish they just put the fucking thing out there. I just wish somebody, even Zaslav himself, would just be like, can somebody throw this, just release this shit on Pirate Bay. Just put it out there and say we don't know how it got out there so people can see it and be like, fucking hell. Good on you, Warner Brothers, for getting rid of this. I mean, if it truly wasn't up to the quality that most people are saying that have seen it and the executives there, just put it the fuck out there. Just throw it. It's going to happen anyway. You cannot get rid of it. In this digital age, it's going to happen. Just throw it out there and be done with it. I mean, have the shitstorm all here at once and then let it go. But I don't know. Overall, I mean, yeah, a lot of this stuff is unfortunate, but it can be a positive as well. I think Warner Brothers has been in disarray for a long time. They just throw shit at the wall, which you could say that about Marvel too. But Marvel is in a better position right now to do that. Warner Brothers has not been in that position. For every great movie they have come out, they've got one or two that are just like, wow, that's not so great. That was a bad idea, or disjointed. So I think that them coming in and saying, hey guys, let me grab these reins, take hold of this shit, and let's do something. Let's put out some. Let's worry about quality and less quantity. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's how companies should be run. That's why Warner Brothers was in the position to be purchased, because if Warner Brothers was doing great, if they just had tons and tons of money and just stuff coming in and great products, they wouldn't have gotten bought by Discovery. No way in hell. They would have been making tons of money, but they weren't. They weren't looking good.
Yep.
I mean, that's where I stand on the whole thing. I mean, all of it. It's unfortunate for these people that they put in work on something and it's been canceled, or they're not going to be able to make it. Hopefully they'll move on to something better, but is what it is. I hope that this means we'll get a better product overall. There's some other stuff that goes into this is about like what type of programming they're going to be putting out, especially on HBO Max, and some stuff about non-scripted and all that. And that stuff is so vague, it's hard to say, but I mean...
Yeah, the only thing that was kind of sad for me is I'm a huge fan of Snowpiercer, and they cut it by a season, so they're going to be one more season and be done. I'm like, at least they're letting them close it out, but it's like, oh man, I wanted to see but it is what it is, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that goes into the whole, they want to, it doesn't say they're not going to have any, but they're wanting to limit more of the scripted programming. And some people said they're only going to do reality TV now. I don't think that's what it means. I think that they're just going to cut back on some of it. Maybe they are going to do a lot of reality TV. I don't know. I'm curious as to because HBO Max has been a big push for them in the past year or so. And for such a young streaming platform, it's doing well, I think. I mean, is it Netflix? No. But I mean, Netflix has been around since streaming since 2005. So I mean, they've got a little bit of a head start on them. Nobody's Netflix, nowhere near it. So, but I think that HBO Max has picked up some good steam and had some good stuff on there. They had some bad stuff too, but they've at least made a name for themselves. So I am wondering what they're going to do with that. I don't think that they're just going to totally trash it or anything, but I'm curious as to what direction that platform is going to go. What I will mention that he's talked about the movies they have seen, Shazam 2, Black Adam. They also said The Flash. He said they think they are terrific.
They may be terrific, but Ezra Miller ain't terrific. I can tell you that much.
I doubt Ezra Miller's going to have a place in it all anymore. But
yeah,
I did find it interesting. I think they're terrific, and we think we can make them even better. I wonder if he means that, hey, we can change some shit up. Obviously, they're changing some stuff in some of it, like with the whole Ben Affleck Aquaman thing. I wonder what they're doing with Flash.
Well, the Flash is still going to come out, but Shazam, I heard they might push back just to kind of tweak it a little bit. That's what I've been hearing.
Really?
So it might not come in December anymore. Yeah, it might come out early next year.
Well, the Flash is tied to Black Adam in some way, so I wonder how that affects Black Adam. Black Adam was supposed to come out first anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, it comes out October, Shazam December, and Flash in like July or some shit.
Okay.
I think Batgirl was supposed to be originally in between those or something.
All right, so I guess they could push it back and it not be that big of a deal. But anyway, Warner Brothers, any properties they have that you're interested in may or may not get the axe. That doesn't mean you won't get something. I mean, Supergirl, Batgirl, I don't know. Are those really nothing? Not the girl, but take the girl part out of it. Those characters, are they that big? I don't know. You may get something from these characters at some point in time, but their current state, it looks like in some cases you're just absolutely not going to get, and others there's probably a good chance that it's going to disappear. And the Flash.
All I know is I want my Grindelwald Dumbledore sex movie. We need that. God. We need that.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. Do something about Harry Potter, that whole universe, because they
ain't working.
They had gold, and yeah, they're not doing shit with it.